Hello, winners, and welcome once again to the Wrong Button Podcast, the show where we talk all things nerd, most things video game, and anything else that tickles our fancy. And we are here for a red carpet night for the VGAs, and I am joined once again by the lovely Mrs. Play.
Hi, everybody. Nice to be back here again.
I'm glad to have you here. Mrs. Play, it is new game season.
It is new game season.
It is also video game award season.
The best, the brightest.
Yes, which
sometimes
doesn't make a lot of sense when a lot of games get released this time of year.
Okay.
But we're going to talk about the video game awards.
I'm looking forward to it. I have my notes.
I am avid in watching all things in the video game realm, where I will watch a trailer 3,000 times.
Yes.
I will pester you about all the little things and minutia I have noticed in a trailer. Probably 3,000 times per little thing that I've noticed, because let's face it, that's me. But as somebody here who's not, you are not as plugged in. Anytime we have watched the video game awards, it's because I've been impressing and being like, hey, no, we're gonna watch the remember it's that time. It's December. We get to watch the video game awards.
I know it's an annual tradition. I do not watch to retain. And I'm here beside you to support you because you're really excited. I'm on my computer, on my phone. I'll clap with you and say woo at the appropriate times. But I'm not actively engaged. Shame on me.
I know. But that's one of the reasons that I kind of wanted to do this with you, because I feel like
I'm better. I'm getting much better.
If I do this with somebody else who's invested like I am in it, we can be a little cynical. Like I said, it's new game season. We've had probably 8 or 9 really good games drop in the past, I'm going to say, 30 days.
Okay.
And the video game awards and the nominations were announced about 2 weeks ago. Like, hey, start voting for nominations. These are the people that are up to it. So, new game season, and then going right into video game awards, for some of us can be like, but how accurate are your awards here for Game of the Year? Because, this game just came out 2 weeks ago. You're saying you've beaten it to be like, oh yeah, this should be a nomination for Game of the Year. Whereas, hey, this game came out in March, so people have delved into it. Okay, I see why this is up for Game of the Year.
Understood.
So we've got some things like that. So what we're going to do is, I do have questions for you, but we can also go for some of the, what's up?
No, I'm frowning because I'm like, yeah, that is some horse shit.
Yeah.
I'm frowning really hard. I'm like, hey, wait a second. Yeah, that doesn't make... okay. Go on.
So, much like the Oscars and the Grammys, where sometimes it's like you see a movie that comes out and it's your period piece drama over a controversial subject, or let's talk about this great hero, and people go, oh, that's your Oscar bait movie. That's your
Braveheart.
Yeah, Braveheart. The one that Angelina Jolie did about the guy who was in a Japanese prison camp. It came out and it was like, oh, it's up for Oscar because of course it is. Unbreakable, I think.
Yes, I'm glad you pulled that name out. I knew which movie you were talking about, but I'm like, pfft.
Yeah, I could be wrong with that name, but yes. The video game awards don't necessarily have that equivalent per se. So there's never going to be a this person made a game about.
Yeah, right.
But it's like, oh, this studio put out a game? Okay, that's going to be up for Game of the Year.
Okay. I don't like that. Okay, go on.
It kind of happens that way.
Right. I mean, yeah, okay.
So with me being a little bit cynical about it, I figured what we could do is we could take a little bit of the podcast to go through some of the games that are coming out and be like, hey,
new games that are coming out, or new games that have just dropped and are up for Game of the Year. I want to make sure I understand you.
I am sorry. Yes, we're going to look through the games that are nominated for different categories.
Okay, thank you.
The ones that we've played, I'll be like, hey, of course we've played this, so
Yeah, you've seen the trailer before.
We've commented on this, and then other
Yeah.
ones will be like delving into, and then there are gonna be some where it's just gonna be like I don't know anything about this, and you're like I don't know anything about this, and that's okay, and we'll skip over those categories.
All right. One question before we go into the categories, and then I'll ask my question.
Okay. So the first category we're actually going to start with, because for those of you who want to know, I'm on thegameawards.com. I'm on their nominees page. Actually starts with Game of the Year.
Dun dun dun.
So this year, up for Game of the Year is called A Plague's Tale Requiem, which is all about trying to escape the Black Plague and the rats that bring it. Elden Ring, so open world Dark Souls. God of War Ragnarok.
Hey.
And Horizon Forbidden West.
Love. Okay.
So these are... Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank
there's
you.
also Stray. Stray is up for Game of the Year. As well as Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Congratulations, Mark. That one is for you.
Okay. How many games can be entered into a single category? Or is there no limit?
I don't actually think there's a limit.
Okay.
I think it's kind of... So
on average, 3 to 6.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
It's also what the critics have kind of the nebulous critics.
They've already called the list,
Yes.
so to speak. Okay. Okay. What are the, or is it? Is that nebulous too? What are the criteria that make up Game of the Year? Am I finally on the same page for like talking points with you?
Yeah, actually. So
okay,
let's start
I got there
So,
organically.
Game of the Year is, to me, is a really hard one. Like, of course, it's all subjective. We know that. But there are a lot of different factors that go into it. So one, hey, how original is the story? How pretty is the game?
I like pretty games.
How does the game play?
Okay.
Replayability and also, I'm gonna say sales.
Oh yeah, that was gonna be one of my If you didn't say it, I was gonna bring it up. I'm like, numbers matter. Okay.
Which is to me a little bit odd, because like Call of Duty would be in here like every time. It's one of the highest selling games of all time.
Okay.
Even though people tend to complain about it more and more as like time goes on. I have my personal Game of the Year pick for this.
Is it sales or downloads, or is that like potato?
Potato, I think.
Okay, go on.
Because I personally I'm very excited for Stray.
Same. Yeah, you heard me get all like, huh. I loved that game.
I love Horizon Forbidden West.
Same.
It is a great game. I don't think it was as good as Zero Dawn.
Well, we knew what to Go ahead. Go on. I don't want to sidetrack us.
No, that's fine. We'll probably still have to finish it to do a podcast on it.
Yeah.
But God of War Ragnarok came out probably, I think, 2 weeks ago. So for that, yeah, it's one of those for that to be up for
so soon.
Yeah, and is
it one of those where like the name carries it, like, oh, you're a legacy? That's what it feels like. I'm sorry, but also I'm not sorry.
So that is made by Santa Monica. It is a first. Yeah, this came out November 9th. God of War Ragnarok. And
that's bullshit. That's already up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the studio. I know you guys put in like a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and there's crunch, and you've worked your asses off to produce a good game. That's bullshit. There needs to be a cutoff in like August.
So I think that's the big thing.
Like July 31st. That's your cutoff.
It comes down like Game of the Year because, and right now the other thing is like, I want to say free publicity, but also people will buy PlayStation 5s to play this game. And
because it has that much of a fan base?
It is a first party game. So it is a Sony owned studio that makes it.
Yeah.
And it won't be out on PC for about a year, and it's just one of those things where it has that big of a fan base. You and I are currently playing through God of War 2018.
Yeah.
It is very pretty. And it is, but that's it. I'm going to go with you. It's like, oh, your legacy. You're a God of War game.
Yeah.
You're a new age God of War game.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you came out.
Like you didn't do it on your own. You're here because of like all your predecessors. Like that's because of the studio that produced you, and then like all the other predecessor prequel games of that type that came before you. Like that's why you're here. Did you do it on your own? We don't know yet.
And
I mean, some people have beaten the game 100%, but
and when it comes to critics calling it, one of the I don't know if you remember this. I've talked about it a little bit. It was probably about 2 years ago. There was the huge complaint for critics playing games. They were like, the game's just too hard for me. I can't beat it in a week for that deadline.
I remember you talking about that.
So it becomes like play a game on easy, which this is not to say that there's nothing wrong with playing a game on easy, but
no, but if you're the fucking critic,
yeah, it's like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order has a just give me a good story, which is like, did you block? Okay, it's gonna parry it for you. Were you holding block?
Oh, that's the mode that I need.
Yeah, it's
the Nicole mode.
Which is great, because it means that you have a chance to play this game and enjoy it.
Yeah. Without having like your level of like 2 decades of experience.
But when you look
games.
at, if I'm going to say, hey, this game deserves something for gameplay, I would say, hey, did you beat it on medium to a difficult difficulty where it's like, hey, how good is this gameplay really?
Yeah, that's fair. To me, that's fair. I agree. I'm really annoyed at the deadline thing. Like, I want to submit Nicole's like feedback for improvement for next year. Like, there needs to be a cutoff, and it needs to be the end of July, and maybe August 15th. Like, I'm willing to compromise.
The other thing here is like, Stray and A Plague's Tale are more indie games, so the fact they're up for Game of the Year, 1, is fantastic. 2, that means Stray is going to get some love, and it deserves a lot of love.
Yeah.
And
what's the Xenoblade thing about?
Xenoblade is a JRPG.
What
Japanese RPG.
Thank you. I was like, I know this.
Modeled after an MMO.
Okay.
It's a.
There's layers, man.
It is a long, ongoing series about a world. Okay. The green and red person is your super weapon person.
Okay.
That's all I know. Mark can pull his hair out as I try to describe that.
I'm sure other people listening are pulling their hair out.
Might be pulling their hair out too. Yes.
I'm sure you're doing a terrible disservice.
It's a fantastic game. This is another game that's massive. However, I think it did come out in October.
Okay.
Part of you beating that, though, when I say it's massive, I do mean like bigger than Horizon, because that's pretty scaled to what I can compare it to that you would recognize.
Yeah, be familiar with.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you have Elden Ring.
Open World Dark Souls.
And the Plague thing. That is it. Would I like that?
I think you would.
Okay. I was like, ooh, Plague.
It is a story. It's a Plague's Tale and A Plague's Tale Requiem. You are escaping the
Black Death.
The Black Death and the rats. And it is. I have been told nothing but great things about them, and they are great stories. But yeah. So for this one, I figured for me, Stray would get my vote.
You want me to weigh in with my thoughts?
Yeah, I figured you would.
Yeah, the silence was loud. I mean, I haven't dabbled in all of them, so I'm being like super biased. I agree with Stray. Yeah, we're starting God of War now. We're mostly through Horizon, and we have gone all the way through Stray. We've completed Stray. I loved Stray just because it's so novel. I'm like, oh, I'm playing as a cat. And when you had first described it to me, I rolled my eyes at you. I have no problem admitting that I was wrong. And it's still a hero's journey, but even just like showing it from a cat perspective, and you just get to be a cat and scratch the furniture and jump up things and knock over paint cans. Like, you get to be a cat. Was novel for me. Like, you and I have never played a game like that. And at least with Horizon, like we've been exposed to the Horizon world before and stuff. So this is it's wonderful to come back. And even like we've played Frozen Wilds, but even with this game, I love the expanded machinery, the machines, the new tools that you have. Aloy's being Aloy in a way that I'm just like, I can tell you grew up as an outsider. Like what got you here won't get you there. I have a book I need you to read. And I'm enjoying God of War Ragnarok so far.
We're only playing the first one.
I know.
Okay.
I'm aware. I know that's not God of War Ragnarok. I like it. I'm not nearly as much of a fan of God of War so far as I am of Horizon. Maybe will grow on me more. But I understand that the game coming from a major studio with predecessor games that have probably also gotten Game of the Year.
I'm pretty sure that one did.
It's a legacy. I'm drawing out the word. I'm like, oh, you're a legacy. I'm sure you deserve to be here because you're pretty and beautiful in your own right, but also you had a lot of help. Sorry, I'm shitting on this game.
No, it's
okay. Like I don't know enough about Elden Ring. You said like Dark Souls, but open
world. Yep, I am. That is. It has a story. It has the game was helped to be written by George R.R. Martin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, instead of finishing the Game of Thrones books, he's helped work on this game.
No, good for him.
And he it has more of a narrative because I know I've had to explain to you like, the narrative in the Dark Souls games, the Bloodborne game was like, read everything. Did you pick this up? Whatever the description is, read it because that's the only way you're going to kind of know what's happening in this universe. This one here does have more of like here's a linear through line that you can follow to get from A to B. That's less fan theory with like trying to pull in examples.
Okay.
A Plague's Tale Requiem. I will also admit, like I have not played. Like I said, I've played Stray. We've played Forbidden West. I have seen. I'm playing. I've seen Ragnarok, and I've played 2018. And everything I've seen so far, like character development wise, I will give Ragnarok has better character development than Forbidden West as of now. Elden Ring's silent archetype. So it does have a lot going for it, but I do think it is unfair to put it in the category like you, because I would like a cutoff, or if you're gonna say, hey, we're doing this now, we do this in like March, but they also want to of course boost fourth quarter sales. I think we're in right now. So
yeah, just in time for the holidays, and that's fine. Like you can still. I get the economics. I get the fourth quarter sales because if it's not nominated for Game of the Year going into Black Friday, I don't know.
It comes out with enough time to hit like
yeah.
So the next one we have is Best Game Direction.
Thank you for moving me on. Otherwise, I'd get stuck there.
You're good.
What is it? Best Game Direction? What does that mean?
Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. So, this is going to sound very familiar. We have Elden Ring. We have God of War Ragnarok. We have Horizon Forbidden West. We have Immortality. And we have Stray. Now, here's kind of my big issue with the way that this has been done. I actually don't know anything about Immortality, so I'm glad that it's here. 3 of these games, though, are... they're sequels.
Yeah.
Elden Ring is its own thing, and it's more open world. Congratulations, but it.
You know what you're getting when you get it.
Yeah, you're getting and that's not to say Horizon Forbidden West, the new machines, the Bat Machine, super cool. The Snake Machine, terrifying. The elephant, also a brilliant design.
The monsters that are underwater, the machines underwater. You being able to go underwater. Yeah, water's a bitch to design and to do well and to go underwater.
And that is really cool. However, I wouldn't say you're doing anything innovative. A lot of it is just, hey, we've improved on the last game. The combat's a lot better as far as melee, but once again, we had that in the last game. You just made it better. So like Stray.
Yeah, I gushed. I
playing as a cat.
Yeah, playing as a cat. From the cat's perspective, the cat's agility and size constraints.
Do you want to sleep on someone's chest because you're a cat? Oh, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna scratch doors.
You can rub up against someone's leg,
and they'll pet you. And I agree with you. Where like game direction, if your design here is awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design, 3 of these games are also, hey, look, that's a person. Hey, look, those are people. Hey, look, that's a person. I know exactly what they all look like, where I think Stray is more artistic.
I agree. Stray should win. Not knowing anything about immorality, Stray should win.
Yeah.
That was easy.
Yeah, that one feels like a much easier one. Best narrative. A Plague Tale, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, and Immorality. I'm probably going to say it's going to go to A Plague's Tale. A Plague's Tale is...
I really want to watch the trailer now. Like the characters look cool.
They do.
Yeah.
I think they're French.
That would track.
But it is very much like... It is a horror game, but the monsters are just the rats and what you don't know because it's the Black Death. And the other ones, like outstanding storytelling, my like Elden Ring is, hey, something's happening to the world. That happened in Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, Demon Souls. God of War, hey, you're a god doing god things, someone's challenging you. They're the first, like, they're the games you've already seen that in when we're playing 2018. Horizon Forbidden West, there's something new that's happening in this world that only you can solve.
Yeah, the world is dying and it's up to me.
And I don't know about immortality.
Yeah, is it immortality or immorality? It's immortality.
Immortality.
I misspoke earlier. Sorry, game. Your computer's just far enough away, and even though I'm wearing my glasses, I am struggling. No, you're great. It's me. Thank you.
You're welcome. So this one, I'd probably give it to A Plague's Tale, just because we
know what to expect with 3 of the 5.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about immortality. Best art direction.
Here's one that I also have. It's
for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation.
I feel like the animation part is the catch-all. Because if I were to be like, hey, look at Horizon Forbidden West, to me, the machines in that game are like seeing the Transformers in the first Transformers movie for the first time. Like, oh shit, this looks really, really cool. I can't believe they can do this. And it looks like it fits.
And you can see like people's like with Horizon, they go for like hyper realism. Like you can see people's pores and getting those textures right. And again, water, it's a bitch. The plants, like you could see individual leaves, and the individual leaves are moving, and like, again, that like just color saturated. Like the monsters were so beautiful. And so for that real, it is commendable. The realism is commendable, and like you said, exactly what you said about the machines, just like I'm in awe of them. My biggest gripes about Horizon are like Aloy's being hyper independent to her own detriment. I'm like, come on, you're supposed to be smarter than this. And it's been my other gripe has been improved upon in subsequent software updates, was that she would frequently be like, oh, I'm going to store this in my cache. I'm like, woman. Like,
she did talk a lot.
A lot about that. Oh, and some of her quips now are more annoying when she's battling the machines. I'm like, you're not Peter Parker. This is not cute. Stop trying to be Deadpool. This is not cute.
I like it. One of my things here though is like Stray. It is more simple. Like, you can't see all the individual fur, but I can tell, the cat has fur.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, realism isn't the standard. It was just like how I was judging Horizon.
no, I understand.
Yeah.
And God of War has more realism, but it's also going to be with character action games or action adventure games. Horizon, you have different machines that you can fight, but you're going to fight a lot of those machines, but it might be like remixed. Like, this is the Frost Claw versus the Fire Claw.
Yeah.
It's the same machine,
Yeah,
Fire
yeah.
Ice guys.
Right,
Pretty
right,
easy. Elden Ring, once again, you're going to fight a lot of the same enemies. They're just going to get stronger, and then your bosses might be pretty interesting. And it does have interesting...
Smack it on the butt.
But like Elden Ring, a lot of it's like, hey, we've already had a lot of this information. Like, it's already been there. We can port it in. It makes it pretty easy to do. God of War, once again, established. It has a very established engine that it's running on. You're gonna fight like some newer enemies, but it's gonna kind of be a lot of the same. Whereas Scorn is like a
what's Scorn about?
Scorn. Do you remember your dad used to play Doom? You remember Doom?
Yeah.
It's like an up-res Doom, but they did it in more of like a almost like painted style, and it looks very like creepy gothic body horror and things like that.
Oh, body horror really gets to me.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
But I would say like I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah. Does it deserve to be on the list? Sure. Am I gonna like watch you play that game?
No. That's okay.
No.
This one I might give it to Horizon for all the newer machines. I think have been 10 out of 10 so far. The bat was cool. The Lapras, that's like the
the angry Lapras.
Lapras and the Slitherfang is really creative and cool. Armadillo Anteaters. I enjoy seeing that version of them. Go to the next one.
No, I'm going to go back to talk a little bit more about Stray for art direction.
Okay, go ahead.
I like to contrast, like when you were outside the city, everything was like green and light and beautiful, and then you fall into like the sewer and it's dark and it's scary. Like obviously, like what I'm saying is cliche, but even just ascending through the levels of the city as things get cleaner, a little bit brighter, a little bit more sterile, but even just getting like being able to interact with like the machines, the robots. I know it was different, and I liked it. And they were humanoid, and then like working with your little AI robot friend and getting your own little backpack, and how you're like a cat walking around with a backpack, and you're just no, get it off me. Like that's how a cat acts when you put a harness on them for the first time and they're not used to it. I loved the perspective that the cat could be a hero, and you were just
being a cat
meowing. But like the AI understood you and helped the AI recover its memory. Like that's unique. And then I know what I'm saying was more like storytelling-esque, but I enjoyed the art style, and there was beauty in the ruin.
I really liked one of the last scenes when you finally open up the ceiling, and it's, as Mrs. Play said, it's very dark the entire time. There's a lot of high contrast art to like be like, here's bright shiny lights, over here is like kind of like a city, and then you open it up and the sun hits it, and everything like just shifts over and looks drastically different because you don't know what actual color the walls are, because like there are different color lights everywhere. So I agree. No, I like Stray. I technically though, Stray. Gorilla to me
is Bay.
Gorilla's it's very close, so yeah. But when it comes to designing something, Gorilla goes all out to be like, could this fit and or work? Best score and music. Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Metal Hellsinger, don't know that one, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So you and I were talking about this one. We haven't played any of these games, so kind of puts us out. But it did bring up to the question to you. When we play games, you've seen me play everything from like Devil May Cry, which will have its like hardcore Devil Trigger song in there, where when you start doing really cool things, it picks up. Versus say when we played Alan Wake or we played Horizon, where it's like the cresting overture here. So my question was, when we played this game, do you like when there's lyrics and at the end of it, what I've done starts playing in the credits, or or do you prefer your classical? No, the music just matches tone.
I prefer orchestral.
Okay.
And the music setting the tone, like without the tone, without the music playing in the background to give me context. It's the equivalent of like show me, don't tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And at least with music, I can feel suspense or excitement, dread, despair. Just I need that music, and I find with the right game, like the lyrics can amplify, like the cool fact, like you said with Devil May Cry. That's the one that's really coming top of mind for me. I think it fits, but in general, I find it distracting.
Mm-hmm.
I want lyric with my TV shows and my movies, but not necessarily my video games.
Like Halo,
I love that. I love it because it gives a sense of awe and scale and like a hollowness, and grandeur. But like, yeah, and with Halo, when you're going into that world, those are the things you need in order to set the tone.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm using the word tone a lot, but
it's what music does.
Yeah.
Music also has tones.
Yeah, I don't want lyrics.
Okay.
For me, how about you?
I've been playing a lot of character action, so I do like when a good lyric comes through. So like Devil May Cry, or I'm sorry, Bayonetta. I've just played one. I've beaten 1 and 2. I'm in the middle of 3 right now, but there are points in it where you'll be doing something and then it'll be this orchestral, and then Bayonetta will be like, "Let's go,"
Mm-hmm.
and then
It's the
everything
hook.
starts to get the crescendo. The hooks come in and you get to hear it, and I like that. I also like Devil Trigger when you're playing as Nero. And like it's just like, okay, it just keeps amping as you're like, then you get the Smoking Six style, and then you get the triple S rating.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoy that. I do like in Horizon, like, oh, there's a new machine, and you hear the music in the background, and then you hear like the grinding of the machine is like now making new noises. I enjoy that.
He says both.
I do.
Best audio design. What does that mean? Recognizing the best
in audio and sound design. So this one we've got Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, and Horizon Forbidden West. So Gran Turismo is a car racing game.
Okay.
They will play. Sony made that one as well. We'll literally like sit and be like, hey, it's wet. We're gonna make it simulating like it's pouring down rain, and then we're gonna rev all the cars and get the sound of all the cars. We're gonna drive these cars around a test track at different rates. Sit a microphone inside of it, so that way
That's what that means. Thank you. Yeah. I'm like, I don't understand enough to see how this is different. Okay.
Modern Warfare, if you're playing,
it gives you your sense of place.
Yes, if you're playing a gun game, I want my weapons to feel and sound.
Yeah, I want it to fucking sound right.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. The way a bullet bounces off of concrete and steel, it sounds different, and I need you to know that.
Yes, it does.
And by you, I just mean
the people.
Yeah, people buying and playing the game know enough to know. So, okay.
Elden Ring, armor sounds.
Yeah, battle sounds. I can't speak on to which game I think would win. The only experience I have out of these 5 is with Horizon.
I enjoy the fact that Guerrilla tried to make interesting sounds for their machines.
I agree. Yeah, but I can't speak to the rest of them, so I don't feel like I can pick a winner. But sense of place absolutely matters, and the right sound, like running on dirt versus snow versus splashing in a surf, like sense of place. You need it. Otherwise, it just, I don't know. Best performance.
Yep.
Do I know any of these people?
Yes, Ashley Burke. That is Aloy Charlotte McBurney was a Plague Tale Requiem. We didn't play that. God of War Ragnarok, Christopher Judge, Kratos,
Copy.
Man Engage, Immortality, and then Sunny Suljic, God of War Ragnarok. That is Boy.
Does Boy have a
Atreus.
name yet? Thank you. That's right.
Atreus.
Cool.
Um,
I'm going to pick Ayla because she's my favorite.
I do. I honestly, after playing the original God of War and hearing some of the sound bites of the new one, I actually want to give it to Christopher Judge. I like him as he does a very good tired, angry, and like trying not to sound like you're
disappointed dad,
but you don't know how to make it sound, and you also don't know how to comfort people. So I do enjoy that for him, and I would like to see him go further on that one.
Cool.
But I do like Ashley Burke. They are a fantastic individual. Games for Impact.
What? Read the description so I know what it means.
For a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message.
Oh, this is a new category.
I did not play any of these. I like it's a Memoir Blue, As Dusk Falls, Citizen Sleeper.
Okay, the Extinction one will make me cry, but I want to play that.
Okay. If it's available, we can.
Okay, thank you for that appropriate caveat.
I was a teenage exocolonist and hindsight. I don't know what any of
what?
it.
No, read that again. I was a teenage exocolonist.
Exocolonist and hindsight.
Interesting.
I have no idea what any of those mean. And it was just one of those things where I was like, I don't know how to go with this one.
I like the category. I for the category alone, I'm curious about the games. And would actually like watch and genuinely pay attention. Because usually for these, you can correct me if I'm wrong, do they show like here's like a 15-second clip or like 30-second clip before like, and the winner is, is that
they'll do that.
See, that'd be really cool. I like this. Also, this industry is primarily known for its toxicity, and you need to work on that. So pro-social meaning is lovely. Best ongoing.
So hey, this is a game that's been out for a while. Typically, these are multiplayer games. And how are they being supported? How is the community doing?
Awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player's experience over time. Okay.
So I'm gonna have a real fun time with this real quick, right? Apex Legends. It's a battle royale. Guess what? They added more maps. What are you still doing? A battle royale. I don't know how much that's going to change or evolve the content, but it's there. There might be some new characters.
New character. Okay, yeah,
yeah.
New characters. And new skins for the characters.
Yeah.
Microtransactions.
Destiny 2. Mm-hmm. Eli loves Destiny. I know she does.
Yeah, she does. If I'm being quite honest, like you never talk about it, and if it wasn't for Eli, I didn't know that people still played this game.
It has
Sorry.
It has a very hardcore community.
Okay.
But it's also like, God, this game sucks. Why are they doing this? But you're gonna sit there and spend hours playing it while you're, complaining about it. I'm gonna have to give this one to Final Fantasy 14.
You didn't even say who else was in there.
Sorry, Fortnite and Genshin Impact. I have a huge morality issue with Genshin Impact.
Okay.
Because of loot boxes and some other we're not gambling, but we're towing that line so hard it's not even funny. Mm-hmm. Fortnite kind of same as Apex, where it's like we've changed some things, but it's a battle royale, and you're still doing that. Mm-hmm. Final Fantasy, hey, if they put out like a new, they'll add a new class to play as because it's an MMO, so it'll be like, hey, we're going to revamp this old class because we know we've added like 3 new ones that kind of made it feel obsolete, but people like playing it. So we're going to make sure that it's now called up, plus the new classes, new jobs that you do, and everything is always going to have kind of more of a story. So it'll be like, this is the new expansion pack, and here's this new story that you're going to go through.
Okay, so you're picking Final Fantasy because there is more story. In theory, Fortnite and Apex Legends could have some sort of reclass, or do you know for a fact that they don't?
Apex Legends could have reclass because your character has a special skill
Mm-hmm.
and has like abilities based on that.
Mm-hmm.
So like my favorite character can throw out like traps. He's called Caustic. So you got a Caustic traps and they can like explode and hurt people. And that can be like worked with, but he's pretty much always going to be that character. And then it's like still be the last person, the last team standing. Fortnite, you don't have that. They've gotten rid of building if you don't want to do the building anymore. So it's just like play a better gun game. But
Okay.
it's yeah,
I mean, there's an industry for it.
it's still one of the largest games out there.
Mm-hmm.
Best indie game, Cult of the Lamb.
Please read the description.
Oh, sorry. For outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. So
Not a AAA.
Not a AAA game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for this one, we have Cult of the Lamb. We have Neon White. We have Sifu. We have Stray. And we have Tunic.
Cute.
Yep. Tunic is literally like, hey, you're a fox, but you're playing through a Legend of Zelda game.
It's giving me that energy.
Stray, we loved.
Love.
Sifu is a roguelite, which was the Kung Fu game I was super excited for.
I've watched you play that one a little bit.
And I super enjoyed and loved that one. Neon White is a action adventure game where you also pick up cards that tell you what your movement is to go through them.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching Wooly play that one, and Cult of the Lamb I watched Kitty Bit play a lot of, which is where you are a cult leader for this lamb, and you get different bonuses for the people of your cult, which give you powers when you go into the dungeons to fight gods and get gods to be like accept your cult.
Okay.
And it's a very dark game. It's made by Devolver Digital. It's what they do. I'm torn between Sifu and Slow Clap. Or I'm sorry, Sifu and Stray.
Okay, I was like,
Slow Clap made Sifu.
copy. Yes. Well, I mean, also, I don't know anything else about the other three aside from what you just told me. I really appreciated Sifu's aging system as you went through. And that your nemesis, the people that you're fighting, like each had different special abilities that you had to like work around. And it was also a bit of a puzzle game in there as well as you navigated through rooms. Like that's a lot to appreciate. And again, the aging process, very cool. And when you were describing it to me, like, again, I only watched you play maybe 30 minutes of it, maybe. But there's a lot to appreciate in that. Like, that's well thought out. That's unique. It's different. I'm saying the same thing twice. And I've gushed about Stray. You guys don't need to hear me gush anymore.
I played the demo of Tunic. It's cute and charming. I really liked it. Like I said, it felt like I was playing a Legend of Zelda game.
As Fox.
As a fox.
That's cute.
The one that's on my Switch right now, which is Link's Awakening, they redid and it's called Toy Box Link because it looks a little cartoony and story-like. Or toy-like. It feels very much like that when I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, this is an adorable like design to go with. I just know how many hours I put into Sifu.
I'm like really thinking about the criteria. I would go with Sifu as well. Cult of the Lamb sounds.
It's very weird.
It sounds, but aside from being weird, but just like I don't know, I don't care to go into it right now. Preface, otherwise, because you'll go on a tangent if I let you. About the game, but this sounds like it has potential. I don't know anything about Neon White. Like creative and technical achievement. I'm like, do you believe that game, Cult of the Lamb, exhibited creative and technical achievement?
Oh, and yes.
Okay.
There were a lot of things where you could go on the site, and for streamers especially, and it would give you like their game code. so that way you could like enter yourself in. So it would be like, hey, your community is now in here doing this, and the character that was in your community could be like, if they wanted to be like a little rebel to you, they could be like, I'm gonna like spread pamphlets saying like you're a horrible cult, and it'd be like, oh, I now need to kill you. So it has some really cool things like that.
Okay, that's cool.
I'd say for community interaction, it is fantastic. But I did love some Sifu.
All right.
I'm gonna skip over best mobile game. Best community support.
What is it? What is it?
Recognizes a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates and patches. So, as Wooly would say, a patchy award, which is where when you read the patch notes, it tells you what it's going to do, and it doesn't say, we've adjusted jump time. The fuck does that mean? Like, you just, all you've said is like something very vague. I'm going to say Final Fantasy because I've read the patch notes there, and they don't come out often, but when they do it and test it, they're like, hey, we're like they typically do like every 6 months something new kind of comes out, and they're like, hey, this last one, guys, it's not, if we put it out now, it's not gonna be fun and you guys aren't gonna like it, so we're gonna put it back in the oven for about another 2-3 months, and here are the patch notes of what we're going for, and this is what we want to make sure we deliver.
Okay.
No,
I didn't even know this was like this was a category.
This is this is like your Discord category. Like,
okay.
It helps Discord get out there.
Okay. No, that's interesting.
Yeah. Let me go back.
I have no thoughts. I'm purely in receive mode. These are a lot of categories.
There are. I'm gonna just kind of skip through a little bit and go to ones that I like. Innovative and accessibility. Recognizes software and/or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help players be played by enjoyed by an even wider audience. So the big thing here is, let's say I only have one hand, so I kind of have to.
Yeah, as an able-bodied neurotypical, I need you. I'm like, what does this mean?
Hey, you're I need to reverse my controller now because I'm left-handed versus right-handed, so I want to hit buttons over here. A lot of games have that. There are games that are now like, hey, you can play it with like 2 feet pedals, as well as like just like buttons up top, so you just have to move your hands to do it that way. And games are getting designed so that way somebody who is playing this doesn't have to be like, this is too complicated, I can't do it.
They might be like lacking fine motor control. Okay, that's cool. Interesting. Okay, so who are our contenders?
There's As Dusk Falls, which is God of War Ragnarok. They have a lot of accessibility options. Return to Monkey Island, The Last of Us Part 1, and The Quarry. And this is, I should say, The Last of Us Part 1 remake. And The Quarry was like a horror game, which does a lot of like quick time events. So it'll be like, here's a quick prompt. If you don't hit it fast enough, you can totally just miss things. So they do versions of it where it's like, hey, we've like tripled that time, so that way you can.
Okay. Cool.
I'm glad it's a category. I know we haven't played any of these games.
That's nice.
But
that's cool.
It is really cool.
I like knowing that that's a category.
There are a lot of people out there who are pushing very hard to do this. We're gonna do like 2 other ones real quick.
Okay.
And then we'll start to wrap this one up because there are a lot, and we don't do like VR.
Yeah, there's like 24 categories.
Yeah, 31. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just looking at the ones from the screen I could see.
So like best action game, Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Neon White, Sifu, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge, which is a remake of the like classic arcade game. For this one, I'd probably give it to Sifu, because I like the technical nature of Sifu. Bayonetta 3 is amazing. I am enjoying playing it. I felt like the second one controlled was a more fun control.
Okay.
So that's where that one is, and then
Call of Duty.
Put Call of Duty in a shooter category. Don't put it in the action category. That's just how I kind of feel there.
Okay.
This one's really fun. So
Best fighting.
The best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat. Traditionally, when we're saying a fighting game here, it's like there's character over here, life bar, fight, right?
Yeah. Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
DNF Duel follows that. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure follows that. King of Fighters follows that. Multiverse, Super Smash Brothers follows that. Sifu, not at all. Sifu could categorically probably should not be in this category.
Why?
Because it would any other game type, it would be like a character action or an action adventure game, even though it's like all.
But you're a character and you are doing kung fu fighting against another character. Break it down for me smaller.
Okay.
I'm like, why not? I still feel like it does.
This should be versus like one like best fighting because it's the best like fighting game. Should be like Mortal Kombat style. Like that is an entire genre. 4 of those games are in that genre. Sifu is not. Like it doesn't make sense for it to be there. I can never be like, hey, pick up a controller. I'm going to play you in Sifu. That's not gonna.
Oh, is it just because you and I couldn't play against each other in like a fight in Sifu? I'm still lacking the nuance. I'm sorry.
The way the category is broken down, it's like a fighting game category.
Yeah.
Sifu would not be a fighting game. You're fighting other people, but it would be like character action adventure.
Okay.
Because of all the other elements that you described earlier.
Got it.
Those elements
got
kind of take
it.
away from this one.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Like there's a Venn diagram. There is some overlap, but categorically, Sifu would fit better in a different part of the Venn diagram. Got it.
Best family games.
What? It's adorable.
Kirby Land of the Forgotten. It's a Nintendo game.
Lego
Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Lego games are a lot of fun to play. They always are. Mario Rabbids Spark of Hope. It's a Nintendo Mario game, so I feel like they kind of put in there. Switch Sports. And then Splatoon 3, which is like your family-friendly Super Soaker version of the first-person shooter.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm going to vote Switch Sports just because Mark and I had a great time playing that.
Good.
And like, I could bring your parents down here and Uncle Mike and everyone could like do bowling and have a good time.
Fair.
Or golf.
Tennis. Okay.
I know badminton's in it. I didn't know if tennis is in it. Yeah, they got added. And we're gonna get over that.
The most anticipated game?
We'll go to that one, but I'm gonna do this one before. So best adaptation, which is recognized outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts to a video game to another form of entertainment or medium. So we have Arcane.
Okay.
Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Okay.
Cuphead Show.
Say that slower.
The Cuphead Show.
Oh, I did not like that.
You did not like that one. That's fine.
Okay.
Sonic the Hedgehog. And Movie of the Year, Uncharted.
I'm disgusted with Uncharted.
There were flies that could have been landing in that mouth because of like just her processing that made it.
Yeah. I mean, technically, does it meet the criteria? Yes. Was it enjoyable to watch? No. No, it wasn't.
Was it? So we've played 2.5, 3.5 Uncharted games. Was it any of those games like in there? Because it feels like it's supposed to be 3 with the plane sequence. Or is it just kind of like...
It's a bit of a mesh of the games, with the it's a mesh of the games.
Okay.
Because there's a tiny bit of like young Nathan Drake, and when Sam meets Nate, so you get those like, it's not told in a flashback like it is in the video games, but like you get that progression. But it's not based off of like any single game, unless it's like the one that we haven't played.
It's Dock War.
Okay, then no, it's just like in that. Yeah,
it's the one. It bombed so bad that it's like I guess they had to put it in here for Sony.
I mean, no, it technically meets the criteria. Like it does. I'm gonna say Arcane.
Okay, I enjoyed Arcane, so I'm very...
and I haven't watched any of the Sonics, and I'm like, yeah. I wonder what the criteria is for that best adaptation. Is it like how true the movie is to the video game? Like that's not the fault
creative work that
game.
faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. So League of Legends, you've watched me watch that. There's no story to that. It's kind of like you can pick up lore and read it if you want.
Sure.
But it's just like, here's this multiplayer where you're trying to like beat another base.
I just really liked the art style and Imagine Dragons.
Yeah.
I said what I said.
No, that's fine. I like Cyberpunk. It's Trigger Studios who made that. And
that was good.
It's also just very Cyberpunk. It's just a different story in that world.
Yeah. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Jim Carrey is terrifying.
Yeah.
He's a great job at that. Yeah. Like, once again, feels like it doesn't belong.
Only because it's bad.
We're going to do Best Debut Indie.
Okay. You said 2 more, and we're on like our 3rd more. I'm not complaining. I'm just making fun of you for saying 2 more and then doing more than 2.
Which is Neon White.
Best debut indie for the best debut game created by a new independent studio.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is like new.
Yes.
Cool.
Neon White, Norco, Stray, Tunic, and then Vampire Survivors, which is made by Ponkel. Reason I want to put this in there, it's one guy who updates it. Pat and Wooly have talked about sinking hours into this like $3.99 game on Steam. But it's like Stray being in there, the fact that was their first game. To me, it was like Kenna.
Yeah,
Kenna would have been in this category.
Yeah, knock it out of the park.
And then Tunic, also highly adorable.
Cute. Yeah.
But yeah, all these games, fantastic, and I just feel like they deserve spotlights. And then finally, and this is typically the biggest one that I think you would you get, which is most anticipated game.
So, read the description.
So this is recognizing an announced game that has demonstratably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward.
So this is like upcoming games.
They haven't come out yet. Yes.
They haven't come out. This is just like whoever has the coolest trailer. I don't like this objectively because shit will end up in the trailer that doesn't end up in the fucking game. You're intentionally misleading me. I have thoughts.
Okay, go ahead.
No, that was the thought. Really.
Okay.
I'm just like, no. No. You're going to overpromise and underdeliver. Not always, but it happens enough that I'm skeptical of you.
I'm personally
Your turn.
Resident Evil 4, I think, is going to take this one because this game came out. And I've talked about us doing the Resident Evil games, the ones that they've remade, because I make the joke that no one cares about the Resident Evil storyline, less than the people that create it. And now they're kind of like, okay, let's put it all together.
Right.
And so Resident Evil 4 was the beloved one.
Okay.
And they're like, we're going to give you the game we wanted to give you, but at the time could not. So I'm excited for that.
So we have Final Fantasy, what is that? 16?
Hogwarts Legacy. Hey, do you want to be
Interesting.
Do you want to get sorted into a house and play an MMO where you're in Hogwarts?
Like kind of. Kind of.
Starfield, space exploration, and then Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Those look good. Yep. Yeah.
And I'll probably send you most of the trailer stuff we'll show because it'll be like
for sure. Starfield and Legend of Zelda look the most interesting to me.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I'm like, oh look, pretty games. Like, I would play the Hogwarts one for like 4 to 6 hours if it was good. I'd be willing, like, because I'm just curious. I'm really curious, and I went to the Hogwarts land with Catherine a couple years ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
You had a great time.
In Orlando. That was fun. I read all the books. It was fun. I like space exploration. That could be cool. And I like Zelda. I do. I'm not crazy huge super fan or anything, but I'm like, I like this. I could play this. It could be good. I'm open to it. Send me the trailers.
I will send you those trailers.
Okay.
Thank you. So this was our quick opinions on the rundown of what we know for Game of the Year.
Yes.
As two amateurs that are
I
looking
had
from the
more
outside.
thoughts than I thought I would.
I figured you would.
Yay me.
But yeah, so we look forward to seeing what you guys all think. Let us know if you have any picks for Game of the Year. I know we didn't cover all of them because that's a lot to try to cram into an hour, plus other thoughts and opinions, especially early on. But yeah, let us know. Might be streaming, if I can, from the hotel room, the Game Awards on the Twitch or on the something, and hanging out in Discord. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can also now check us out on
Discord.
we are on Discord. I will start posting links for that. So if you guys ever want to hang out and talk to us, you can also now find us on Hive as well as Mastodon.
You're embracing the hive?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
Remember that you guys are all winners out there. Keep it weird and have a fantastic rest of your day, everybody.
Bye, guys. Catch you later.